Zambia, good morning and welcome to the Morning Blends edition for today, Saturday, the 22nd of March, 2025. We thank you so much for joining us on this program that helps you to wake up to what matters the most. We have a lot of exciting programs coming up this morning. I'm your presenter, Sarah Miti. My co-presenter, Godfrey, is not available this morning, but he will definitely join us for next week's edition. Coming up in the program this morning, we have the news headlines, an update of what is happening or what has been happening in Zambia this week. And we also have, as you are aware, Zambia is joining the rest of the world in celebrating the 2025 Financial Literacy Week. So I have a powerful team that is going to help us to discuss Financial Literacy Week this morning on the program. And also, we also have the entertainment segment, of course, and we have very interesting musicians that have come to share with us some music and also share with us their stories. So for these and many more, stay tuned.
Welcome to Zambia News and Information Services, your media and communication hub. Need a professional space? We offer state-of-the-art studio hire for sound and film productions. Experience comprehensive news coverage and in-depth features that bring you closer to the stories that matter. Capture your moments with our professional photography services, perfect for events, portraits, and more. Looking for eye-catching visuals? Our graphic art and design team will elevate your brand with custom solutions. Host your next event with confidence. We provide high-quality conference systems and public address systems tailored to your needs. Contact us today at zanismarketing@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 0773 809 040. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. And we now go straight into the headlines for this week. Government is set to upgrade Chikuni-Gwembe roads. Now, President Hakainde Hichilema has announced that the government will upgrade roads connecting Chikuni, Rosango, and Gwembe to bituminous standards as they are currently in a deplorable state. President Hichilema says government will further set up a solar plant to provide electricity to the area, especially for schools and hospitals. The head of state said this on Sunday at Chikuni Mission during the celebration of the 120 years of Chikuni Mission existence and launch of the 125th anniversary roadmap. Also in the news, President Hakainde Hichilema opened the Beya seed plant in Kabwe. Now, President Hakainde Hichilema officially opened the Beya Zambia seed processing plant in Kabwe district in Central Province on Thursday. The head of state said the development underscores government's continued support to invest in the country and the agriculture sector. And on financial literacy, the Bank of Zambia Governor Denny Kalelia has called on members of the public to report all suspicious digital financial requests to the Zambia Information Technology Authority, ZICTA. Speaking in a speech read for him by Bank of Zambia Director Frida Tamba at the launch of the Financial Literacy Week, Dr. Kalelia further urged citizens to avoid pyramid schemes that can lead to loss of money. And finally, on our headlines, the Immigration Officers Annual Conference opened. Now, here the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Mwimbu, reaffirmed government's commitment to recruiting more defense and security personnel. He was speaking during the official opening of the Senior and Regional Immigration Officers Annual Conference in Lusaka. Well, that is all we had for you from the news headlines for this week. We have a panel discussion on financial literacy coming up after this break. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Zambia News and Information Services, your media and communication hub. Need a professional space? We offer state-of-the-art studio hire for sound and film productions. Experience comprehensive news coverage and in-depth features that bring you closer to the stories that matter. Capture your moments with our professional photography services, perfect for events, portraits, and more. Looking for eye-catching visuals? Our graphic art and design team will elevate your brand with custom solutions. Host your next event with confidence. We provide high-quality conference systems and public address systems tailored to your needs. Contact us today at zanismarketing@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 0773 809 040. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
The Morning Blend continues, and thank you so much for staying with us. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the 2025 Financial Literacy Week. And to help us discuss this, I have in the studio a powerful of three panelists to help us just open up and talk about financial literacy in Zambia. On my far left, I have Mrs. Chilufya Mwila, who is the co-founder and CEO for Premier Credit Zambia. Mrs. Chilufya Mwila, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Next to Mrs. Mwila, we have Ms. Sylvia Mutale, who is a business development provider and also an expert. She's been in the field for more than 20 years, developing SMEs and also providing consultancy services. Ms. Sylvia Mutale, welcome to the program and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
And on my immediate left, I have Mr. Malcolm Chabala. Mr. Malcolm Chabala is also a business consultant, and he has over 20 years' experience actually in the financial sector, working for different banks, several to mention, but he is past CEO for the NatSef Bank. Mr. Chabala, welcome to the program, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to throw it to you. This year we're joining the rest of the world in commemorating the Financial Literacy Week. And this, the theme for this year is Think Before You Follow, Wise Money Tomorrow. So think before you follow, wise money tomorrow. Any one of you can pick it up. How do we interpret this theme?
Thank you so much. I think it's an important theme, and it's good that as Zambia we have consistently celebrated the Financial Literacy Week, which is also a global event. So it's not just in Zambia, but it happens across the country, so across the world. So this year's theme touches on, think before you follow. And it's really about safeguarding your money, and it's in recognition of the fact that more and more people are using digital platforms, and they're using the internet, they're using apps, they're using mobile money to transact, and that in itself has brought a number of risks. We all receive these funny messages from fraudsters and scammers, and I think that's what the Bank of Zambia and Ministry of Finance are really thinking about, educating people. If you think about it, some of our relatives in the villages, our grandparents, some of them receive social cash transfer through the phone, and they've been scammed because people are taking advantage of that. So you receive these messages around, we can give you money for CDA, for social cash transfer. So that's really has been the focus, and it's really good that they took the actual launch for this year to Mazabuka, so that it's not just about Lusaka, but spreading things across the country. Thank you.
Yeah, you would want to add, Sylvia?
Yes. For me, I see it as a way of having the ability to research, to learn before you act, before you receive advice from your colleagues, instead of going the route of, well, this is something that is open, this is something new, this is what people are now doing, people are following the trends. It's about learning first before you engage, and thinking about how do I create generational wealth. So you think, you research, you plan, you strategize before you act.
Right. I think, Sylvia, we have in the business SME sector what we call a Me Too syndrome, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so absolutely. And perhaps even before I get to that Me Too syndrome, one of the things that, has really come out in the SME space is the real need, for financial literacy. Because one of, and I think, you all agree with me that, issues of knowledge or skills around financial literacy will definitely support SMEs, for example, to, budget wisely, to save wisely. And so it's quite important then, that the aspect of knowledge, is taken to the SMEs, both rural and urban, enterprises as well as entrepreneurs, but also just ourselves, at personal level. I think that is a very critical skill to have.
Right. So I'll throw it back to you, Mr. Chabala. I like that you mentioned the Impia Shabalanda.
Yeah.
So having this experience, massive experience in the financial sector, please take us back to how the country has been doing in terms of financial literacy, and if we're making any progress now. I know we started, talking about financial literacy quite a while back, but are we even making any progress?
Yeah, certainly we are making progress. So if you look at the last FinScope survey, I think it was 2020 or 2015, somewhere 2015, 2020. Financial inclusion has increased to about 64%, coming from around 50% somewhere there when the last survey was done. But I need to put a caveat there. So most of that growth in financial inclusion has actually been driven by mobile money. So it's the telcos rather than the banks that have driven increase in financial inclusion, and that's because of the issue of convenience. So the mobile network operators have come up with these very innovative products, which we call mobile money products. They're very easy to get. It's KYC light. It's very convenient. And then, of course, riding on the fact that we have mobile phone penetration of about 90%. So even your grandmothers in the villages have a phone. So it's very easy then to marry the phone with financial services. So fintechs come in very handy. So that has driven the increase in financial inclusion. Unfortunately, actually access to a formal bank account actually dropped over that period. I think it's only sits around 20% if I'm not mistaken. So we still have a lot of work to do because the mobile money wallet is limited in terms of what it can offer. Right. So we still need a lot of people to go onto the formal bank account. Of course, banks have a lot of responsibility in terms of making it easy for them to be accessed. So the mobile network operators have gone way ahead, and they're catering to millions and millions of customers, which is a good thing, but there's a lot more that we can do. What has also happened is that from the simple mobile wallet where we just used to send money, they've actually evolved, and now there's insurance there, there are loans there, there are payments, it's a market platform, there are discussion forums.
Even the government is using it. Some of the empowerment funds are being sent through the including social cash transfer
is sent through your wallets. So it's very, very convenient, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on the banks to improve their services. But we've come a long way, and I think the government has been working on the financial inclusion strategy. There's a policy with that, the financial deepening programs that the government has implemented over the last maybe 15, 20 years. So a lot of work has been done.
Yes, inclusion up to 64%, that's actually quite massive, actually.
It is.
Of course, we can do a lot more, but that's for a start. That's a good start. So we wanted to add on as well.
Yes. So perhaps when we look at the element of inclusion, and as Mr. Chavala has indicated, in terms of government's different empowerment programs around financial inclusion, but also there's private sector that is also looking at elements of financial inclusion, because government policies not to leave anyone behind. And so then it becomes very critical that all, key stakeholders, in the various spheres of the economy, come together to play their part. So you find that in different, sectors, in different industries, there is that element of ensuring that, financial inclusion happens. Sometimes it can be through their CSR, policies, and so on. And there's also other organizations that are not necessarily private sector, but CSOs as well, who are ensuring that, everyone is on board in terms of financial literacy.
Right. So now I'm going to come to you, Chilufya. You've seen how we have evolved. I think now, as Mr. Chavala has mentioned, the floor is more open now to mobile money, and then also to you fintechs. So I've also picked that with the digitalization of the platforms, it has also come with some risks. Okay, I think he also alluded to fraudsters easily scamming people through mobile money and all these other platforms that they're using currently. So how do you feel as fintech we can move on to still advance financial inclusion, but also provide some form of safety for people that have actually now come onto the financial stage, because people have moved from keeping money under their mattresses and in their boots, in their socks, and they have now found a safety net where they can now bring their money. But how can we ensure that we give them that safety so that they don't go back to keeping their money under their pillows?
Mattress, yes. No, that's very, very true. And so you will find that fintechs, including banks that are now building fintech divisions within the banking sector, are now developing more AI-driven tools that become more interactive. And smartphone penetration is now much higher here in Zambia. He alluded to about 90% of people now having access to a platform which can be a financial service in form of mobile money or bank on your feature phone, which may be through USSD, or through your smartphone, which can be through a financial application. So these financial applications are not just developing services where you can actually get a loan or you can transfer money or save in a wallet, but they are also now interactive where you can now access financial literacy on your actual application. So the education can come through interactive applications, AI-driven tools. You see, with the way you spend, when you utilize AI on your platform, it will tell you how, when someone usually spends, if they are even saving, and it gives you ideas of actually how you can build and save up to something that you want to buy through your actual application. So the service is not just about moving money from one place to another, but really interacting with your lifestyle. So the application should factor in the lifestyle part of it. And then you also have gamified learning. We have blockchain type of technologies, AI, machine learning, all those kinds of, that use multiple data sets that help people now create generational wealth, build a financial future, attain financial freedom, while at the same time being very knowledgeable and also aware of the risks. So when we say aware of the risk, we're talking about how you don't share your mobile money PIN with your children or with relatives at home. How, if you're a business owner, don't use your personal number for business purposes for your business. It has to be a business account. You register it. It's easier to account, because if you now share your PIN, your employee can now start using your personal account to access a financial service without you even knowing. These are the exposures that we are all exposed to. But how do we then create rails that creates a safe and secure space for people to actually trade, because you are keeping your secure information. Your KYC is uploaded on this platform. How do financial institutions become accountable? And this is where regulators are now putting in tighter controls to protect the consumer, to protect your data. This is why we have the Data Protection Act and all these types of cybersecurity measures that have been put in place to ensure that every institution that providing the service is held accountable and also is very transparent with regards to information and the exposures you have. Way back, you wouldn't even know, by you downloading an app, you're giving that institution access to all your key contacts, all your photos. So as you are downloading, you have to be very careful of what you're accepting and what you don't want to accept, because you have the right to do that. Other applications, because you don't give them all the access, you won't be able to use the service. It's still fine. But it's important to just be aware when we download, this is what we're exposing ourselves to, and this is the information we're putting on the platform.
So is there any way, of course, what you've mentioned is really very important, right? And we have, so our colleagues actually have a lot of options. We have, I don't know what I'm saying, colleagues. We have a lot of options, you know, to safeguard. So do we have any deliberate measures to ensure that, you know, this information reaches like everyone? And I'm going to throw it to Sylvia, because I know Sylvia will coach people. I'm going to bring you to that business owner in Ikeleng, okay? So whereby even the phone, there's probably one phone which is being shared by the whole household. Now what we've come to realize is that, you know, you find that people will move from being micro to actually medium enterprise. We have seen those stories, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But then they'll reach that stage, and then financial literacy, zero, isn't it?
Correct.
So how can we get that message across to them?
Yes. You know, in terms of our enterprise, and we're talking specifically to the Ikeleng example here, the first thing that normally will happen when that entrepreneur graduates into an enterprise and becomes formalized, you know, there are certain elements that would be required for them to become stable, but then also to safeguard their interests their business interests, but also their personal interests. And so it also becomes then critical to, go into certain learning, platforms, be engaged by certain organizations that provide financial literacy, because it is through those platforms, and indeed, as Mrs. Mwila has indicated, within some of these mobile platforms, there's financial literacy learning that can happen, to that business person. And so when they get onto that particular platform, they're able to understand and appreciate certain do's and don'ts, as regards utilizing their mobile and not sharing of pins and so on and so forth. But at the same time, there's resources such as, ILO business and financial management training, which also has components of, risk management around, the business finances, but then also around their own personal finances. So I think sensitization can come in also through, different ways in terms of ensuring that, their risks are actually managed, yes, in terms of their finances. Mm-hmm.
So I think at this point, this discussion has really been interesting. We can go on for the rest of the day. But just a few closing remarks. Mr. Chavala.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, this is the Financial Literacy Week. I think it started on Monday. It's going all the way up to Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, which is tomorrow. So it's very important that as consumers of financial services out there, we take advantage of this week and get as much knowledge as possible. The booths that have been set up, the tents that have been set up by various service providers. So this is an interesting week because this is a week where you get insurance professionals, bankers, stockbrokers, fintechs, mobile network operators, everybody working together for the benefit of the customer. And it's not just about selling, but disseminating that information and helping our customers appreciate not just the benefits that come with products, but also the risks that come with them, particularly cyber security risks, which have intensified of late. So it is a journey, but what is good and is gratifying is the commitment by all stakeholders, the various regulators, whether it be Bank of Zambia, the SEC, ZICTA, everybody is coming together, plus the financial service providers themselves, the banks and insurance companies, stockbrokers, and everybody getting together to share all that information. So it's a good thing, and every year we can build on it. And it shouldn't just be about this week, but it's an everyday conversation. Thank you.
I would say we continue going with the theme, where we research, we learn, we know before we act, before we follow the trends, and also make smart decisions. Is it right for me at this point, or can I wait for something else that makes sense? Right. Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, so I would want to encourage my fellow SMEs out there, to be financially wise, and especially when we're talking about issues of collateral. It's not all the time that you need the money. So sometimes an business introspection is necessary, because that also helps in terms of your financial management. So let us not rush into getting loans or grants, but assess our businesses and see what the real need is before we can get into accessing loans. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. This has been an enlightening session, very educative even to me. So that is where we end on this segment of financial literacy. Thank you. As we have heard, think before you follow, so that you can safeguard your tomorrow and your money for tomorrow. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We are now moving into our entertainment segment, and on the program this morning we have the legendary Zambian artist Roberto. So Roberto has been in the industry for decades. Actually, he broke into the music industry in 2006. When he joined the music industry. Now, Roberto, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, like when you go through that list, I'm just like thinking to myself, yeah. How old are others?
Yeah, so it's been 19 years since you actually came onto the Zambian music scene, and we have enjoyed a lot of music from you. You've won awards locally and on the global stage.
Yeah.
So what the question I have for you actually is, how have you managed to stay active in the industry for this long time? Because we've seen a lot come and go, you know, but you have really stayed on and you have continued to give us really good music. What is the secret?
I think the secret is mainly just the desire and passion for music itself.
Right.
I grew up in a family that loved and adored music, so for me this is something that I'm really just passionate about. And along the way, you know, you realize that, okay, you can make some money, you know. If you can make some money out of the industry, you kind of like now just work extremely hard, because then there's certain responsibilities that, you know, weigh on your shoulders. And for me, it's really just been passion. I love music. I love to learn, you know. And as the years have been progressing, I feel like I've been learning as well, as artists are coming and others getting to emerge and do great things.
I think I get what you're saying about hard work and passion for music. I also have passion for music. I can sing in the shower, but I think one thing you forgot is having the talent for it, which we have seen you display throughout the years.
I think I'm a perfect example of someone that could not really sing in the beginning, because when I started my career, it started off as a rapper. So me switching to singing was out of disappointment, because I wanted to take part in a certain project, and I was told, you can't sing. So, you know, like I took that no and turned it into something that I said, okay, fine, I'm going to work hard and see how best I can do it. But of course, you know, we are built different, and at times along the way, people get to give up and think, you know, maybe this is not for me. You'd be surprised how many times I've quit in the background and say, you know, this music thing is not for me at all. But it's part of the challenges that, you know, anybody out there faces, regardless whether you're an artist, you are an accountant, you know. People quit so many times when they're in college or university as they progress. So I think we go through the very same, you know, challenges as we get to move on. So yeah, if you feel like you want to do it one day, give it a shot.
It's not too late?
No. It's not at all. Not at all.
I actually love the fact that your success in the industry is actually stemming from a disappointment.
Yeah.
And, you know, negative feedback most of the time really just, you know, puts us off. And most of the time, like you have mentioned, we really give up. So what would you say to an upcoming artist that is actually facing or is in that phase in the industry? What would you say to encourage them?
The truth is, you know, from our generation, when we were starting, the industry, the landscape itself was very different to the way it is now. You know, when you look at the number of radio stations that we had to submit our music to, compared to now, it was minimal, you know. So you find maybe there's just like 4 radio stations within Lusaka that you really have to target. But now we have multiple radio stations, multiple TV stations, online platforms. So the work is double, if not 3 times than the way it was back in 2009 or 2011. So I feel like this current generation is working harder than before, because then there are all these platforms that you need to ensure your music is, you know, playlisted or, you know, placed on those platforms. But it doesn't mean that there isn't hope for you as an artist as you are starting. You know, music is seasonal. Even when I was starting, there were artists that were at their prime, you know, they were at their peak, and we were upcoming artists. For example, I was a backing artist for General Ozzy. The only thing I would do is just, you know, dance in the back, move from left to right. When he says potential, I say potential, that's it, you know. So with time, you know, you get to realize that God will bless you and give you an opportunity to shine. And at times we have a lot of artists that want to be famous really quickly. You know, they believe with one song, that's it, I need to be famous. It took me 5 different songs before people actually even accepted me as Roberto. So sometimes the process is slow, but it doesn't mean you should stop. You know, it simply shows you that this is an industry you're going to face Once you make it, remember you may have one hit song and never have another hit song in years.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that once you do not have a hit song, it means you should quit. It simply means you have to keep working. Consistency is key, because one day God will open the doors again and say, all right, I've seen your suffering. Here's another song for you to, bless the nation. So you always have to keep working hard.
Right. That's my key takeaway from this is consistency, isn't
Yes.
it?
True.
Hard work and consistency and passion for what you do, right?
Correct.
Now, I know that you're always cooking something in the background all the time. As you
Always.
said, you're always working hard.
Yeah.
So what are you going to give us today? What are you going to leave us with today?
So 2025, we started the year with an amazing song. It's called Bestie. And this song was mainly dedicated to friends that have been there for others. People like yourselves who've been there for certain people that we know.
Right. Yeah, of course. He's my uncle.
So, the thing is, a lot of people face different challenges, and at times the only source of inspiration and comfort is someone that is always there with you, a friend,
Right.
And others, they found friendship in their parents. Others, they found friendship in their children. And sometimes you meet a stranger and, you become very close. But I thought to myself, is there a song that one can dedicate to someone out there that says, you know what, you've done so much for me, you've been there for me, and I want to appreciate you, I want to grow with you, I want to make money with you. So I thought, why not create a song that really just puts everything in one, and you can dedicate it to anybody, whether it is a parent, your daughter, your son, your uncle, a guardian, close friend, fiancé, whoever it is. So I said, yes, let's do it. So the name of the song is called Bestie.
Bestie.
Yep.
Bestie. I'm really inspired by your story, and then I'm just picking your passion for the industry, and then I'm also seeing how you are creating more and more, for us.
Yep.
So I get the confidence that you're with us for a long time, and I think for that we can go on with this conversation. But let's now move on to our song Bestie. So here is Roberto with Bestie.
Fire, fire. I told you, man. Fire, fire. It's King on the mix. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a brother. Do, 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 do. My name is Roberto. Have you seen my bestie? It's a Timberland. Oversize me and my bestie. No, 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 no. Kaya, kaya, che. Company, even the Musakoni body company. Tizabaona, they say. Tizaona go, they say. Today they know that you and I there. We be on the house and it manga every day. Fama ama pembela di ikaloke. Ise vula ya tuni makwata na matola. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Muntu wanga, muntu wanga. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Muntu wanga, muntu wanga. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. I'ma move the world for my bestie. I'ma do whatever for my bestie. I'ma be the rock for my bestie. But you make a nigga wanna hear go bestie. We're gonna be tested, bestie. They won't understand how we make money. They will call us names for the same money. Point. Cool even I want to bachikwera. Point. Bazaleta chongo even better. Point. Welcome back, I'm also been better. Cause you're last in it is easy. Little did they know that you and I there. Yeah. We be on the house and it manga every day. Yeah. Fama ama pembela di ikaloke. Yeah. Ise vula ya tuni makwata na matola. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Muntu wanga. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Muntu wanga. Uyuebe ni muntu wanga. Have you seen my bestie? Really got tight in a bestie.
Thank you, Roberto, for that beautiful piece. And we're not ending there. We have some more entertainment on the segment. And this time we introduce to you CamSwag. Now, these are relatively new in the industry, but they have been doing great, great things. CamSwag Entertainment, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell me, who is CamSwag?
Us, we're CamSwag Entertainment.
Yes, the two of you are CamSwag.
Yes.
You are a duo.
Yes, duo
Okay,
group.
so tell us about your music and the work that you have been doing.
Okay, ngabesha us CamSwag. Okay, the word CamSwag first. First of all, the word CamSwag means itself. It means
Okay, it's like a new fashion.
yeah, new fashion.
Yeah, but I'm quite old-fashioned, but I know that swag means fashion, right?
swag.
So
means
everything about us, it's new.
Oh,
Yes,
awesome.
must be new CamSwag Entertainment.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that name? That's quite an interesting name.
Kaidi yazopezeka ti mwati mapezekera chese yazivagaga mapezeka ti kumangati vena ngwani kacha divina ngovina ngochi kumapezeka ti kubola ko new fashion kubola ko chani. So we decided to say that we have to come up with CamSwag Entertainment. Then we form up a group.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Have you always been a duo, or you started as single?
Chiramba the single.
You started as
Yeah,
single.
started as single, yes.
Then mabama nakuti
Then,
you
okay.
work better together.
No,
no.
just teze nkala kupsana. Teze nkala kupsana, zingara ku John Lenge, then mgazi zingara kuchunga.
Okay.
So then in after takuka from John Lenge to chunga kuja tabota peza manje tabota kumana. So after kukumana zemvera choke. Okay, ndi jakalo kwa kila press kwa nyuana kumafunga kwa chozo kuba nzako my friend jaso. So maina bo press kati inenezeimba then foot nezemvera kuna mgazi yozi. Okay, after nafika tunawaza magazi unangana bunaziwa kuchana ine ni maimba. Then they were saying at okay kulikuwa na mzako na even mkali na even mai ama imba ningafuna kumana kumachako pamoja music ngapange sense because na even ndo mkali na ndo mkali. So it's like okay ningafuna takumana. So sometime wanabwa nipeleka kule even mgazi achalinka after kumana. Then we share some ideas. Then the following day, I think 2 days from then, tapata na pa studio, tamia song, and that song was a big song mchunga everywhere. Chapagla on your belina. So tapata comes and chabo. Just pange group.
Ngeshe duo group. See.
Nemuna banga chaze group manje.
Oh, interesting story. So mnapezana tabati mkali pa mkali.
Yeah.
Omo mapanga boom. Okay, so
Explore manje for grand.
So now that brings us to our first song. We want to hear that bomb that you actually created in Chunga, isn't it?
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, here is CamSwag.
CamSwag Entertainment. Ken Dola got you. SSJ niggas. Yeah, my boy Triller. Yeah. Vela. Listen, yeah. Sibonse banga seke ukaseka. Sibonse bamamvela moshe vene umachita. Aba bantu sibaleka kukamba. Vala mato meso yamba kutamba. Bena bakusekako. Bena batukanako. Bena ngomani zako. Hey boy life in them way dili. Bena basamuti yako. Bena ngokatunde bakudai lako. Bena ngojela siba kumpele lako. Jemo edini. Hey boy life in them way dili. Yeah, them way dili. Hey boy life in them way dili. Yeah, them way dili. Hey boy life in them way dili.
Wamatikamba bati tilipe na siwa kweta choka tina jumpa live now yeah kuli ifesele mwanji ni mafuta manecha ni kuvuta kumpea na balatsa siwa funo kutiona na mabomba tikapita ati mwapi ona romba vikabenga ndiye vima amdi roba you wanna see me down nigga every time so but I'm the goat you can call me mbuzi level nikalila meni juni mwena mitila mbepo bena batise kako bena batituka nako bena batiponte lako hey boy life in the way chikanga place the bali mama mutukala chabuta nyamalenga mona mukana
bena basamuti yako bena ngokatunde bakudai lako bena ngojela siba kumpele lako jemo edini hey boy life in the way dili. Yeah, jemo edini hey boy life in the way dili. Yeah, jemo edini hey boy life in the way dili. Osaniseka nikalini pema chino nichalunga mufuna muni brema motoka ili yanga wai iniletelele we live once boy nisiye nisekelele upanga muntu lelo apuka na dabu akuona chezende mukuko okay this life it has a bit of funny but believe ukapaya ndipo
nkala na mali oh no ziba kuti life in journey nikamutamba niteka po busy to mankani ne wanda kaka shakuno wala makofi tuli bantu bomwitu tanjili amulosia shabuluya aiko na tushileke tuli bantu bomwitu kanjili amunde kai nebona kangamba mwebo kamunyumfwa welije nshani keshigachi nyumfwa siwase bangaseke ukaseka sipoze bamomvela mushevene omachita aba bantu sibaleka kukamba vala matu neso yamba kutamba bena bakusekako bena batukanako bena ngobano zako yeah boy life in the mighty bena basapoti yako bena ngokanyuya bakutailako bena ngojela siba kumvele lako jemo elini yeah boy life in the mighty yeah jemo elini yeah boy life in the mighty yeah jemo elini yeah boy life in the mighty plus K on it.
NT Sound Media.
Oh, well, that was a really good piece. It really is a bomb. So now, Kamswag, I know this is not the only production that you've done. It's not the only work that you have done. Is there anything else that you have done? Something else that you're also working on?
Yes. We're working on an album. We're dropping an album soon.
I think by next month the album will be drop.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. I think album is I think you're just remaining to one song.
Okay.
Yeah, one song. So by next month we'll be dropping an album. Yes.
Is that kind of Zina Bwanja album?
Yeah, it's Hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Chimwela.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Kama ngati video bonza vyo chidi afunga ti wina hope ngolbe hope
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Ni hope is on, eh? Yeah, it's very true. That's actually very encouraging. So manja pa mtikali boyenda tufuna mutisia kona futi na chinango chibom. Eh? Uzatsia na chibom bwands manja.
Oh.
Mind your own bine.
Mind your own bine. Interesting. So before we go, Kamswag is going to give us another bomb that is called Mind Your Own Business, and that is what we leave you with as we end today's bulletin of Morning Blend. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us again next Saturday at the same time. Goodbye.
K on the beat.
Vela, yeah, someone vela musho kani ona nichitika game. Umani pempelela down for vela mushenga tini pita mumatika why. Unenzelu zama chuta soke manjo on bine. Yeah, na chuufu na chikubabi. Manjo on bine. Boy, somani lipilila lenti. We manjo on bine. Yeah, sunga nechite understand. We manjo on bine. Manjo on bine tina kuri la ko ghetto boy bobo ngakela kumapi I mind chokine ngatofika mapi sekaiti chabupe mwampa chabapuleshi wala tabesha la pali ba poundale ni kuno na kuseshek kusekuka ndiwe benilombe moya zilo shaka lombe ya mukalila mainizo yelo kati kalila Philippine totishan nela mazanga wai neziniletelele believe once boy nisiye nisekelele iyo ndiye promo koti palusaka for you to be who I am you need to work hard osa ona munga life ni makati keep pushing gachi pala kusoweto ndati ndo chachikulu osa ibala na tempo unstoppable fama vela musho kani ona nichitika game umani pempelela down for vela mushe ngati nipita mumatika why unenzelu zama chuta soke manjo on bine yeah na chuufu na chikubabi manjo on bine boy somani lipilila lenti we manjo on bine yeah sunga nechite understand we manjo on bine manjo on bine tina kuri la ko ghetto boy manji yo bine ngani ulendo wasilu beta mwalanga nako lotipiti samadilu sunga shite understand tina kuri la ko ghetto kwa tuba maponoka ukapela na mazeto yenga tini faka padi pose tima bomba ngati ndiwe sipensa mendo yamba kupomba olo nuone lemo boy sesitima gona soba iweko my own boy nesindine loba pakashelo nangeneka nili mutoko nasipova chena ka 8 soko na chikanda tikulisa bwani mula beko dongo manjo on binenga ufuna unione soko nishokela pa mutiatiatia na big mama patisio vimba matianja chikuwa besizo nevitem nifeo balanda in the beauty vela yeah soma vela mushokani ona nichitika game umani pempelela down for umamvela mushengati nipita mumatika why unenzelu zama chuta soke manjo on bine yeah na chiufuna chikubabi manjo on bine boy soma nilipilila lenti we manjo on bine yeah sunga nechite understand we manjo on bine tinakuri la kugeto boy John K, I see you, Oak Azad, Gas J, Sky Louis, I got you, Last Martin, yeah. Hella big money, Mr. Gucci, Gucci boy, Jella, yo, dirty, you want. Have a guy, a fella, yeah. Distance, in the Bunona, say, shaking, our own for unstoppable to fall a bed, in the beauty, yeah. Mokalina, my niece,